Hi guys, this is Atul, an Indian student living in Berlin, Germany. And if you've been following my previous videos, I had told you that how I got two job offers within 1 week with the help of Claude. And when I say with the help of Claude, that doesn't mean that writing some general prompt and all. It's actually how I analyze a job description and based on that finding specific keywords and tasks and how I create and tailor my CV. If you want that videos, I will attach that video in this specific video. But this is where I will be talking about something else, which is that although I got two jobs, I'll have to leave one of them. And why? It is because certain German laws and all. So, but to be more specific, I got two student jobs, and as a student, I'm allowed to work only 20 hours a week. And why I have to leave two jobs? Because one of the jobs because two jobs combined together was going beyond 20 hours a week. But when I looked, I was researching more about that. It's not only about 20 hours working in a week. It's also about a total number of days in a full year. And it's specifically related and specifically important for non-EU student, which is like me coming from India, because the second rule, which is a certain number of days in a whole year, does not apply with other EU students. It's only specifically applied to non-EU students, and it is a hard law. It is directly related to residence permit, because the moment the HR will be trying to understand or will be getting the information, it will straight directly go and affect your residence permit, and you'll be questioned that you're going beyond the required limit, and your residence permit will be cancelled and all. So I was researching more about this. Video will be more about like looking at the script, because I was researching and I did not want to give you some random information. I researched from a consultancy website and also certain official websites, which I will be attaching in this description. But I was researching, as I said, I was researching and I got two different laws. One, we already know that 20 hours a week, but the second was about a number of days. So these two rules doesn't come from some university policy or random guidelines someone made up. It comes from the straight German federal law, specifically section 16b of the Residence Act, residence permit, which is I'm talking about. The Aufenthaltsgesetz. I'll name the video. We'll name the word. I'm so sorry for my German and all. It's directly tied to your residence permit, so it isn't a soft rule. As I said, that as soon as they start recording, they will be asking questions that your residence permit might get cancelled and all. The second law, the first law we already talked about 20 hours for work. The second law is a separate annual limit. So a non-EU student can only work 140 full days or 280 half days per calendar, and both of these apply in the same time. So you have to comply with both the rules. One is 20 hours of work, 20 hours per week, and the second is 140 days full days or 280 half days. But the question is, what is actually full day and what is actually half day? For example, what counts as a full days trips a lot of students that I was researching. If you work more than 4 hours in a shift, even just 1 hour extra, that entire shift counts as a full day. For example, if you're working for 4 hours, but you go beyond 4 hours for like 1 minute or like 30 minutes or something, and it is officially recorded, then it will be considered as a full day. But a 9-hour work shift is also considered as a full day. So if you're working 9 hours in a day or 5 hours in a day, like beyond 4 hours in a day, that will be considered as full day. But if you work 4 hours a little less than that, then it will be considered as half day. So it is in a way, it is better to not work as 9 hours a day, because you will be reducing your working hours in some limits, because in some limit days, and it will be better to work in 5 hours a day, because then your work limit will be expanded through the whole year in different days. But the question is what is the maximum number of days we can expand? That is 140 days in a year. So with this research, I was working with Claude and created a different 6 different scenarios where a student can work, and in which limits, in which scenarios a student is going beyond the specified rule of law and all, because it is actually confusing, and it is kind of a mathematical to understand how to do this. So I'll quickly go there and show the table. So we'll quickly go over this. I had created, with the help of Claude, actually different scenarios, and these scenarios were based on some real life examples, that how that 20 hours work could be spread around different weeks, and still you comply with your annual requirement of 140, annual limit of 140 days a week, or like 280 half days in a year. So the first one is like that we generally first and second we generally get it like the first one is 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, 4 hours each day, and you complete 20 hours, and this is half day because as we have explained that if it is less than 5 hours a day, then it's a half day, and you complete your 20 hours in 2.5 days. 10 and if you complete your total number of days in 10 months, 10.8 months, and you get 56 weeks, which is like 13 months you are completing, and for 12 months it is less than 140 days. That's why this is okay. The second is standard work, which I am actually getting from one of the organization, 4 days a week, 5 hours in a day, 20 hours, and we complete total 140 days requirement in budget in 35 weeks, 8 months. So which is still after 8 months we cannot work more because you cannot work more than 140 days in a year. So if you are going these specific module or model, then you are not allowed to work more than 8 months in a year. Next, we go concentrated, where since you have 3 days of lectures, and then you have only 2 days to work in a week, then you have to complete 20 hours, then you split that 20 hours into 2 days, 10 hours a week, which is still a full day. And you will be completing days in a month, which is around 8.7. So you will have to complete you will be completing your 140 days in 70 weeks, which is very less than which is very less than 140 days of a requirement in a whole year. This is very good, but actually it is very demanding because you'll be working 10 hours a week, and generally people do not do it. The second is, these are the three scenarios for 20 hours, then the next three scenarios for 10 hours a week, which I got from the second organization. So 3 days, for example, 3 days I'm working 3.3 hours. It is half day because it is less than 5 hours, and then I'll be completing my total working days in 93 weeks, 21 months, approx 21 months, which is still lesser because we have to complete 140 days. We now cannot go 140 days, and we are doing 140 days in 21 months, which is more than a year. And then again is 2 days, 5 hours a week, 5 hours in one day, and we'll be completing in 70 weeks. And then last, if you work one day 10 hours, 140 weeks, 32 weeks, with these two is amazing because still comes under the 140 hours, 140 days, I'm so sorry, 140 days in a year. But you'll be working one day very like in a devoted, for example, 10 hours and all this is like almost impossible. And then what I am actually getting from both the two organizations, one from one 20 hours a week and from another 10 hours a week. So I have to skip this is going beyond, first going beyond 20 hours a weekly cap, and also it is 30 hours, which is too much for me, and I have to complete 6 to 7 days, which is almost impossible because I have my classes in 2 days and all. So this is how all the splits, and these splits are dependent are made based on the previous experiences and some of the like discussions I had with my people and all. And so we just saw that how with the two requirements, which is 20 hours a week and 140 days in a year, different scenarios can be made. And with my example, I got two jobs and I was getting 20 hours from one and 10 hours from another, which counts total as 30 hours, which I cannot do. So one again, I have to let go one of them. Since I had already signed a contract with one of the organization, I cannot just let go right now. I have to follow all the requirements of like resigning and everything. And what is the whole process, and what is my personal reference in selecting one of the organizations? It includes my classes, includes my work schedule, it includes the travel distance between all those things, and it includes German language level requirement. We all discuss in the next video. And in going forward, I also have something for those who are learning learning German language and also preparing for the Goethe Institute examinations. That, for example, that you learn the language, you prepare for the Goethe examinations, but you don't know how to practice. Like practice a mock. For practicing a mock, you have to go to a different centers, which could be paid and like time consuming and all. So what can we do? Is there any platform where we can do a Goethe similar like mock practices? We know that we have the Duolingo and all those things, but those have those are learning apps, but not a mock preparation apps. So let's go how to do that, and we'll try to find out. Thank you so much. Bear with me. Bye bye.